Over the past few years, Josh Allen, Diggs, and the Bills Mafia have proven that they're one of the best teams in football, but still have yet to make it to the big game. So I thought it would be time to ask if they have what it takes to be a dynasty.
10. Stepping up into the logo and throwing. He's got Diggs wide open. It's caught. Touchdown.
It all began when the Bills drafted Wyoming stud Josh Allen 7th overall in the 2018 draft.
The Buffalo Bills select Josh Allen, quarterback, Wyoming.
Since he was coming from a pretty small school, not much was expected out of the former Cowboy, and so let's just say that Josh lived up to the hype. People forget that Josh struggled hardcore as a rookie, and many went so far as to write him off as a bust after an abysmal 10-touchdown, 12-pick rookie season that led the Bills to a 6-10 record. It's nothing new for even the best quarterbacks to struggle as a rookie, but here's the thing, the football world doesn't care, and they'll write you off the page as soon as they can.
Carson Wentz is Josh Allen, except way better.
Thankfully, Josh avoided a lot of the potential heat because he was in the tundra up north in Buffalo, a market that has been overlooked for the past decades after this.
Snap, spot, in the air. It's got the distance. It is no good.
The fact that Buffalo drafted Josh so high means that they had a lot of faith in his ability to help turn around a franchise that had been literally frozen in time. So although he started off a bit bumpy, the belief was there that he was still that guy. Keep in mind that head coach Sean McDermott was also relatively new to the team after only being there for a year longer than Josh, so there was quite a bit up in the air going into the following season. Considering the fact that not much was expected out of Josh and the Bills after a pretty underwhelming rookie year, it was all the more merrier when they did their thing and did it big.
There are just those plays that make that season-ending highlight reel, and that is going to be one of them.
Out of seemingly nowhere, Josh decided to switch a flip and play like he did in Wyoming, as his over 3,000 yards and 20 touchdowns, along with only 9 picks, helped the Bills make their way back into the playoff picture. This time around, they flipped their record from the previous year, as Buffalo went 10-6 and was able to earn a spot in the wildcard against the good old Houston Texans. This was the pre-massaged Texans, with Deshaun playing some of the best football in the league, so it was interesting to see which in the upcoming squads would come out on top. Throughout the first 3 quarters, Josh and the Bills were in complete control, and were able to keep Houston from putting up a single point until the last minute of the third.
Here's Watson now. Blockers in front. Inside the 10. Lowers the shoulder and in.
The rest of the game went back and forth as Deshaun gave the Texans the lead with only a few left, until this.
How about it, Buffalo?
The fact that Josh's first playoff game went into overtime was a bit wild, but rough enough. After not being able to get anything started, they eventually lost on yet another field goal. Not the greatest way to cap off a surprisingly quick return to form for Buffalo, but the fact that Josh was able to lead the Bills there in the first place was enough to get people interested. So with all this in mind, going into 2020, there was a lot of hype around whether or not Josh would become one of those guys, or if the playoff run was just a fluke.
Hard line. Allen fakes the handoff. The pass is caught. Wide open is Diggs.
Well, it turns out the run wasn't a fluke. And not only did Josh just take a little jump from the previous season, no, my man became a top 5 quarterback in the league, behind over 4,500 yards and 37 touchdowns through the air. Pretty dang solid stats, and stats good enough to earn Josh a trip to not just his first Pro Bowl, but also a spot on the All-Pro second team in an absolutely stacked AFC. Because of all this, it wasn't a surprise that the Bills also took a massive leap from an already impressive 10-win season to a dominant 13-3 year as Josh was practically unstoppable. Although they came up short the previous playoffs, this time the Bills were back, and back with a vengeance as they beat the Phillip Rivers-led Colts and then absolutely smacked up Baltimore. It was impressive enough for such a young team, but upon that were some of the first playoff wins for Buffalo since the mid-90s, thereby establishing Josh as one of the best quarterbacks in the league, now going up against KC in the conference title game. Although Buffalo started off hot, as you could guess, eventually Mahomes took over as experience beat Josh and the Bills after what was a stellar run.
Souls will rule it down.
Once again, Buffalo came up short, but this time they had proven themselves as one of the best teams in football. And I mean, losing to the former Super Bowl champs was not too bad a way to go out. After years of heartbreak and disappointment, the Bills were finally back in business with Josh and the recent pickup in Stephon Diggs leading one of the most dangerous offenses in football.
Faking the give to Singletary. Up the side, up the seam, Diggs.
Going into 2021, many wondered if Buffalo would be able to take another step, and this time potentially make it to the big game. And just like clockwork, Josh Allen showed up once again with this time over 4,400 yards and 36 touchdowns. Although the Bills took a bit of a dip by going 11-6, they were back in the playoffs yet again and absolutely shredded the Patriots.
Take it.
The times of going out in the first round seemed to be over as Buffalo stopped New England right in their tracks and once again took a trip up to Arrowhead. From the beginning, this matchup was different from the previous year as both Josh and Mahomes battled in one of the best playoff games in NFL history. But rough enough, just like what happened to Mahomes a few years before, Josh didn't even get a chance to get the ball in OT as he had to sit and watch as the Mahomie did this.
Looking to the end zone for the win! He caught it! Ball game!
An absolutely gut-wrenching way to end what was not just a great season, but one of the best performances that playoff. And yet it gave fuel for Josh to come back better than ever the following year. This season has been a bit interesting all over the league, but Buffalo has maintained their success as they have been dominant once again behind the typical great play by good old Josh.
And Allen will boot and he'll flip it wide open. The man who scored all the touchdowns in the playoffs, Gabe Davis.
Through 14 games, Josh has put together one of his best seasons to date with over 3,800 yards and 30 touchdowns as he has led the Bills to a solid 11-3 record. At this point, it's become normal for Buffalo to be one of the best teams in not just the AFC, but the NFL in general. So even though they're doing great, this is nothing new, and it's why I'm making this video in the first place. The difference between a good team and a dynasty is a thing called a Super Bowl, something that the new Josh Allen-led Bills haven't gotten a chance at yet.
Unbelievable. This is just unfathomable. The Bills had won this game.
Over the past few years, Mahomes and the Chiefs have in a sense been the gatekeeper, preventing Josh and the Bills Mafia from taking that next step. And let's just say it doesn't seem like they're going away anytime soon.
Escaping, on the move, Mahomes stops, spins, flips it forward for the touchdown.
It's likely that either the Chiefs or Bengals or another one of those great teams will be the barrier between Josh and a Super Bowl appearance. So in order for him to take that next step and become a legend, he's going to have to win one of those big games. Joe Burrow was able to do it with the Bengals last year, so if years go by and Josh falls short time and time again, it will almost certainly be a big knock to his legacy. It doesn't matter who you are, you gotta win big games to become one of the best. And although the Bills haven't been able to do it all that much yet, I think Josh can do it sooner than later, because a lot of it comes down to the great situation that he's in Buffalo. Josh Allen is a phenomenal player, but he wouldn't be in the spots that he's been in if it wasn't for the talent around him. Whether it's Diggs, Knox, Singletary, Davis, or the super solid defense, he's had a decent bit of help getting to the place where he is today, and I'm confident that those pieces are good enough to get him to the big game. It may not be this year, may not be the year after, but eventually something's got to give, and I think that in this case, it will send Buffalo to their first Super Bowl appearance in a few decades, and hopefully this time they can close it out. Unlike a lot of other quarterbacks, Josh doesn't shy away under the bright lights, and he's proven time and time again that he can play well in some of the biggest moments. It's just been a mix of bad luck, tough competition, and a whole bunch of hoopla that has kept him from doing something special. Over the next few weeks, we'll see how the rest of this season pans out, but based on how it's gone so far, it's looking like Josh and the Bills could be extremely dangerous come playoff time. And you know what? Maybe this could be their year, considering all the unknowns and crazy stuff that has happened. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, what do you guys think? Is Josh Allen one of the best quarterbacks of our generation? Or is he just in a great spot in Buffalo? Comment down below your thoughts. Josh Allen has helped the Buffalo Bills become great once again. And although they have been able to perform on the biggest stage, it's only a matter of time before Josh gets the opportunity to prove whether or not he's the real deal.
Here. Allen sees that one-on-one. He's going to him. It's Gabe Davis again for the touchdown.
Thanks for watching the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment down below what stuff you want next. But anyways, see you all soon, and peace out.
Wow.